picked up this behemoth right here for a really good price. This is an extremely powerful laptop from last year. It's ASUS G17 Strix from 2022. Got an AMD CPU, 6900HX, so very capable CPU, obviously. It's the Ryzen 9. And this one here has a 3080 in it, RTX 3080. So there's going to be some limitations with that VRAM cap at 8 gigabytes, especially considering how powerful this GPU actually is in here. And I've seen these online for actually a really good price. A lot of people right now are looking at 4000 series NVIDIA laptops, 4070 and especially the 4080, and looking at it and saying, holy smokes, that is a very expensive jump from 2022 to 2023. But these laptops you can still get 3080 laptops for a really good price. And this laptop is still actually available new on the market as well. It's not just, I got this locally off somebody, but you can still buy these new at places like Amazon. You can still buy them new in places like Best Buy. And the prices are quite a bit considerably lower than a 4080 laptop that potentially would have somewhat comparable specifications. Some people are still going to be potentially looking at this laptop for 2023. So potentially you could get yourself a 3080 laptop like this here with all around really good specs, good screen, good CPU, good upgradability, and a great GPU in there as well. Potentially save yourself a ton of money. So the question becomes, how good is this laptop in 2023, 2024? How is the upgradability and how's the performance overall? So it's definitely a gigantic laptop, 17 inches across. I think it's 17.3 in terms of the screen across there. So it's a very, very big screen, which some people may like, some people may hate, but let's see if I can even get this thing on camera. So you get no ports on the right side. Left side, you get your microphone, headphone combo jack, 2 USB-A, which is nice. I'm actually opening this up right now, so don't worry about that. You get RGB all the way along the bottom here. Tons of RGB on this laptop. Like it's obviously it's very 2000s vibe to it with like this weird kind of thing here. On the back, you get 2 USB-C ports. One does support power, so I've actually been, from time to time using the USB-C to power this laptop and charge it, and it goes power out as well. I've hooked it up to a external monitor, and I have a video that I've done that with, so it works for sure. HDMI, RJ45, and then your barrel style power in. Plastic with like yellow kind of stuff on it. It's not bad build quality by any means. This is plastic, this is metal. It doesn't feel cheap by any means. It just feels kind of 2000s-y. Inside, like I said, gigantic laptop. You can see here, huge laptop. Full-size keyboard. A lot of ASUS, you don't get a number pad, so it's nice to have a number pad on this laptop. ASUS laptops often do not have number pads. You basically, even with like the 16-inch ones, you just get that and they just center it. So having a number pad is quite nice. That's always been a negative for me. So as you can see here, I've been using this laptop for a couple weeks now, and I actually like it. Despite the fact that it's gigantic and kind of gaudy, it's actually a nice laptop overall. High refresh rate screen, you can see here 240 hertz, which is crazy considering this is actually a 1440p screen. So in terms of screen, it's actually pretty killer. Huge screen, 17.3 inches, so you get a ton of real estate, and it's 16 by 9, so you're not going to get that height. But because it's such a big screen, it's not a big deal because you actually have a lot of height anyways. So I mean, you're not really going to be suffering from that. It gets pretty loud, so we'll start it off around 50. So you can hear lots of bass. This is only 50. So really good sound. Turn it up. It's going to get very, very loud. So, I mean, the audio is actually superb. Great for just media consumption in general because you get a really bright screen, 1440p, large, bold screen. The audio is great and it's very clean. There was no tinniness, no rattle, no distortion. I'll do my standard screen test here. I always just run the Samsung video because it has good colors and good blacks. So you can see right off the bat, it has actually very good colors. Considering it's a gaming laptop, this is a very nice screen. So you can see here, really bright reds, very accurate actually. So you can see here, very great blacks on the screen here. This is a very well lit room. Beautiful reds. So it is a very nice screen. All things considered, it's a nice screen. I'm quite happy with that overall. Good contrast ratio, good colors. You can see there. So I've actually been using this for content creation, not just gaming. Like I do game sometimes on this laptop. But I've been doing a lot of video editing on as well because it has such a nice screen. It's huge. It's a very huge screen. You get tons of real estate, and it's quite bright, but the colors are really nice. So for me, if I'm doing video editing type stuff, it's obviously important for me to have good colors. And you can see it has bright colors, very vivid. So it's a very nice looking screen overall. Quite nice for, you know, consuming media and producing media. And the keyboard's actually quite nice too. So I'll do a typing test here. So you get the trackpad here, you know, not a lot of separation, but you get the number pad here, which is good. I mean, I actually use number pad, so for me, that's a good selling feature. And the keyboard is quite nice. ASUS generally, I would say, has very good keyboards, probably second only to Lenovo. The trackpad is quite nice too, very accurate, you know, smooth surface as well. I don't think it's a glass trackpad, but it feels very smooth. And ASUS has great trackpads, like as good as you're going to get, basically. Nice click on it too. Nice click on the key. So very satisfying click, very, very good, very accurate trackpad as well. So overall, you know, inputting to the laptop, you know, in terms of the keyboard and the trackpad, it's superb. I have no complaints whatsoever, and I wouldn't change anything. So, you know, this is a great laptop for consuming media, so despite the only negative of this laptop for like a professional use is huge. So I mean, it's a 17.3 inch screen, so it's very, very large. It's a heavy laptop as well. So if you're taking this, you know, to a business meeting or something, this thing's gigantic, and it is by no means, you know, you can see the RGB, by no means, you know, business professional looking. But if you need a desktop replacement, I mean, and you're going to be doing tons of work, you get a lot of screen real estate on that. Like, I mean, you can fit 2 full size panels on here. Like, I mean, easily. There's good width on them too because it's such a wide panel, and obviously it's good height just because it's a large screen. I lost the footage for my teardown, unfortunately, but I'm just going to have a look here at this laptop media based video. I just took a screenshot of it because I did actually open it up, and you can see here that it is quite upgradable. The battery is not huge, you know, there's a little bit of room for a bigger battery. The 3080 is not, you know, very efficient for battery life, but the 6900 HX is actually very efficient. So, you know, if you disable the dedicated graphics, you will get good battery life on this. You can see here that we have a single NVMe populated in the slot here, but you can easily add a second one just right below that. So you get dual NVMe, so good upgradability. And the other benefit is that you have dual SODIMM as well. So there's lots of upgradability on this. My model has 32 gigabytes. It has 2 16 gigabyte sticks and 2 NVMe's in the slots. And you can also see here that there's good cooling as well. So good upgradability score. You can replace the battery, obviously, and pretty good cooling inside this laptop as well. And you can see there why the audio is so good. It has nice big speakers on it as well. So you can see I'm in performance mode, and we'll check the sound. We're at 40. It's pretty quiet, actually. My mic might exaggerate it, but it's pretty quiet. Let's put it on turbo. Now it will probably get pretty loud. So you can see there's a considerable difference in volume in terms of turbo versus performance. I use this in performance like 99% of the time. But yeah, you can see how much noisier it is. So, you know, if you're okay with, you know, headphones or whatever, and just, you know, playing like that, you know, doing work like that, turbo is fine. But if you're playing games or, you know, coding or whatever, and you're not going to have headphones on, you still get a ton of performance, and it's considerably quieter. And here I ran some Cinebench R23, and you can see here we're getting a pretty decent score, 13,000. So, I mean, you're going to have no issues whatsoever compiling code and doing high-end video editing, no issues whatsoever. There's a little bit of throttling on the CPU when you're running Cinebench for a long time, so, but it's not terrible. I mean, we're still getting a decent score. And then I did some Time Spy scores as well here, and you can see the graphics are obviously quite good, 12,200. And there's no overclock or anything like that. That's just basically stock. And the CPU score is good as well. We're getting around 10,000 or so. So all around, very good performance here. And you can see here that for a very brief moment, we did get a little bit of CPU throttling. But overall, it performed pretty cool. We're looking at, you know, 75 or so throughout this test. And you can see that that's the timestamp here for the hardware info is basically just for this test. So it does actually run pretty cool, all things considered. Okay, here's our first game here. Let's check the noise first of all. We're obviously like pretty much maxing. This is in turbo mode. So pretty loud. Yes. A nice drop when we go down to performance mode from turbo. Let's just run. We're going to start the game with turbo though. See how it performs. Let's check some settings here. This is a 3080. It's only 8 gigabytes of VRAM, so there might be some issues with performance in some very modern games at 1600p. So 1600p Epic. And actually it's performing better than I thought. So 1600p Epic, and we're at 50 FPS on average or so. 30 for the 0.1% low, so that's actually very good. It's pretty rock solid, to be honest. I mean, it's a 3080. I'd hope that it can keep up, but let's see here. Let's go down to performance and see how much drop off we get here. Not much, just a few FPS here and there. The noise drops down quite a bit. I often find that with ASUS laptops, you're actually, in many cases, not losing a ton of performance going from turbo down to performance mode. And the noise is considerably quieter when you do this. 60. Yeah, so there you go. So 1440p or 1600p Epic presets. And we're in turbo mode and just the lightest FSR, and look at how much the frame rate has gone up. We're up to 81. The average says 63, but it doesn't seem right. Okay, and here we are in the game. 1440p, ultra textures, everything else on medium. And I mean, obviously we're getting killer performance right here off the bat. We're only using about 4 gigs of VRAM. And frame rate's at like 100. 35 for the lows. 0.1% lows. 53 for the 1% lows. About 100 on average, so very, very good performance. Okay, so let's try performance mode here. See what kind of difference we get. The max frame rate or average has come down a fair bit actually. It was at about 100, so we're down about 20%. But the lows are pretty much unchanged. So yeah, we lost 15 to 20 on the max FPS, but it's not going to make any difference in game playability because the lows are so good, you know, 38. Actually, we're going up again. Not even 20%. Yeah, maybe about 15%, maybe somewhere around there. Performance drop on the average and the max, but the lows are pretty much unchanged, so I want to see what it does more than anything. Yeah, so now I threw on DLSS, same settings, and just quality DLSS, and again, pretty big jump in performance. We're just on balanced here, not even on turbo. We're on performance mode, not on turbo. I mean, you don't need DLSS on either mode, to be honest, but I guess you could put it on if you want. 1440p, ultra, no scaling. So it looks like we're going to be around 60. This is the most demanding part of the game, obviously. One of the most demanding parts in the game here at Hogsmeade. The 3080, this game really does suffer if you have poor memory bandwidth. So if you're basically not able to push data through, it'll absolutely tank, even if you have a fast card, quote unquote fast card. So I find like the 4060 and the 4070, the average is good in this part, but you get lows that are like 8. Like it really drops down. And you can see here, we're not getting that. The lows are 20 and 25, which you may think is bad, but it's not, because we're getting 60 on average. The mildest DLSS, so we're not going to need anything above that, because we don't really need it in the first place. There you go, huge jump. So mildest DLSS, and yeah, you can see we're up, we've added about 15 to 20 even, in some cases. We were at about 58, 59 before. The lows have come up by about another 10 or so, maybe even slightly more. Lows have come up, the average is up. You know, now we're easily above 60. Okay, so here we are in the game with those settings. Basically ultra presets, 1440p no scaling, and yeah, very good performance, obviously. Basically, you're getting 60 FPS, so you could just throw it on ultra max, and away you go, right? 60 on average or so, 30 for lows. Yeah, so it's kind of as expected. 3080 you should be able to keep with this game totally fine. Just see what it does. Turn off scaling. You just want to see what it does without any scaling. So you can see here ray tracing medium's a bit much. We're not able to hit 30. But it's not horrendous. So what that will basically suggest is that if we throw on some DLSS, probably on balance there, that should get us up to 45 or so. Yeah, there you go. Oh, more, 55. So ray tracing medium with balanced DLSS, and yeah, the performance went up quite a bit. Obviously the ray tracing is working, you can see there, like, pretty. Occlusions, let's turn that down because it's never a huge difference. So 1440p, no scaling, basically everything on max other than the occlusions. And let's see. So it's a less demanding area than this. I guess there's less people. And we're averaging very high. There's some dips down here during this like camera panning scene to 45. We were averaging quite a bit higher, but let's see what happens when we get down to the ground here. Settings down to high, instead of very high. Okay, so high instead of very high, and I turned down the filtering. So almost, not doubling, but getting there, probably 80% more frames by going from high versus very high, and very high with everything max. It wasn't just very high. Very, very good frames here. Totally acceptable. This game looks really good. So I'll turn it back to very high. I'm going to turn this filtering up again. You can leave it down, but I'm going to turn it way up. Turn it back down. And then, I wonder if you can see the difference with these. I guess like maybe? Yeah, so this is truly maxed. The game absolutely maxed out. And let's throw on a little bit of DLSS, so we'll go upscaling. The heck was IG, whatever. So just the mildest DLSS there. And left trigger. Yeah, so just the mildest DLSS here, but everything absolutely maxed out. And there you go. Game maxed out, mildest DLSS, and easy above 60. Right? Very, very good performance. Let's just not piss this thing off. And no scaling. And we have Fidelity FX off. For some reason this game doesn't have DLSS. And I mean, right off the bat you can see it's going to work fine. You don't need DLSS, you don't need FSR. You put it on 1440p, you basically throw it up to high textures, 4 gigabytes, and you're good to go. VRAM is not even close to heading up to 6. You could turn things up more. Let's turn some more stuff up because it's running totally fine. What else can we turn up here? I guess we could turn that up even higher, up to 6. It made no difference whatsoever. Would that even work? I guess. 8? Let's go 6. That's the recommended VRAM. We'll throw it all the way up to 8 there. It says recommended is 8. still not making a difference. It's running totally fine, so turn it way up. Looks great. I don't know, let's turn some more stuff up because it seems to be not caring. High, these are all on high. Whatever that is. I don't know. These games are just, Capcom just really optimizes these games quite well. Stuff's all turned up too. I don't know. Don't need any of this. Turn this up even higher, I guess? You can't. So I don't know. Anyways, anti-aliasing. Is there anything we can even turn up? Oh, max. So we can turn these up. Max, max. Hi. Alright, so I turned a bunch of stuff up even higher. It didn't make any difference. The VRAM usage went up slightly. But, I mean, it's still running incredibly well. Average of 78. Lows, 0.1% was a 57. Yeah, so 1440p Ultra. Spoiler, I've played a lot of this game on this actual laptop. Like, a lot. So, it runs amazing. Just want to get some effects on screen here. There was a drop there when the battle has started. Let's see what it actually plays like. Yeah, so I mean you can see there it's performing totally fine. There's a moment when the battle starts and ends and it drops down, but very, very good performance. So yeah, Baldur's Gate runs very well, obviously. And The Witcher 3, 1440p, no scaling, Ultra presets, so maxed, without ray tracing maxed. And we're just on performance mode because you can hear it's actually fairly quiet. I can hear myself think again. And I mean, here's basically your 60, close enough, 58. 60 over here. So let's just throw on DLSS to quality. We'll just see that. So quality DLSS, huge jump in performance, obviously. Visually, it looks identical. It's not until you get up to the higher DLSSs that it looks bad. Yeah, and look way over 60 now. Now we're at, our 1% lows are almost 60. So considerable jump in performance. So when considering a new laptop for 2023, it is very enticing to try to pick up, a 4080 laptop. However, 4080 laptops right now are extremely expensive, very, very, very expensive. You can get 4060 and 4070 laptops for a good price, more so the 4060. However, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting yourself a 3080 laptop. This 3080 here is performing extremely well, even in 2023, even in the most demanding brand new titles that have just launched. It's outperforming the 4060 and the 4070, evidently. I mean, especially in things like the lows, because it has a better memory bandwidth, memory bus on the 3080 than the 4060 and the 4070. So, the max FPS may be somewhat similar between the 4070 and the 3080. And often when you look up, GPU stats, that's what you may find. Okay, well, it's the 3080 is only 5% faster or something like that. Okay, maybe an average. But in the lows, it is very evident that the 3080 is outperforming. Now, of course, this is also a higher wattage 3080, 150 watts, whereas, the 4060s and 4070s are typically not that high wattage. But the price difference is extremely evident. You can get a 3080 laptop, even new still, for a fraction of the price of what you'd get for like a 4080 laptop or even a 4070 laptop. So I think a lot of people are, very quick to jump on the brand new bandwagon. I need to get the newest laptop. The 3080s were never as popular, but you can get 3080 laptops like this for a good price nowadays. At least in Canada and the US, I've seen them. Very, very large laptop, very gamer focused, obviously, but I mean, it's a very nice laptop. The gaming performance is actually quite stellar on this laptop. I have no complaints with the gaming performance. It's very, very good in terms of gaming performance. Some fingerprints there you can see. Typing experience is excellent on this laptop. Trackpad is superb. very clicky. It's so for professional work, I mean, it's a big professional laptop, but it's a very good professional laptop. For gaming performance, I mean, I was actually surprised at how well the 3080 held up. I shouldn't have been. I mean, yeah, it's only the 8 GB model, but it's 150 watt 3080. I mean, there's really no compromises on it. The only negative, I guess, is it's, you know, it's a big laptop, but that just means it performs better.